Tired of the usual travel spots? The world is bursting with destinations that offer something fresh, exciting, and entirely unforgettable. Whether you're chasing sunsets or new cultures, your next favorite place might just be on this list. What if there were a place where golden plains meet whitewashed villages, where silence speaks louder than crowds, and time strolls instead of races? Alentejo, Portugal. Spanning from the Tagus River to the Algarve, this vast southern region is Portugal's pastoral heart. Rolling hills of cork oak forests, olive groves, vineyards, and timeless stone towns under endless blue skies. Évora, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is its crown jewel. A Roman temple stands beside a 16th century cathedral, and cobbled streets whisper of Moorish influence. Outside the towns, megalithic sites like Cromlech dos Almendres predate Stonehenge, guarding secrets of an ancient people. Alentejo is less visited than Lisbon or Porto, yet deeply immersive. Shepherds still guide flocks across the plains, women bake bread in community ovens, and traditional cante alentejano, singing echoes through summer air. An oral tradition so rich, it earned UNESCO recognition. This is not a place for rush. Alentejo invites slowness, contemplation, and a taste of Portugal's soulful interior, where the land and its people live in poetic harmony. What if every curve of the road brought you to a view straight out of a Renaissance painting? That's the daily magic of Val d'Orcia, Italy. Val d'Orcia, Italy is a dreamlike region in southern Tuscany, celebrated for its rolling hills, cypress-lined roads, and postcard-perfect villages. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's not hard to see why. The landscapes here are a living canvas of harmony between man and nature. The area is dotted with timeless towns like Pienza, Montalcino, and San Quirico d'Orcia, each offering stone houses, medieval squares, and quiet charm. Vineyards stretch across the valley, producing world-class wines like Brunello di Montalcino, while fields of wheat and sunflowers sway in the Tuscan sun. This region inspired countless Renaissance artists and continues to attract filmmakers and poets. The light here is golden, the pace is slow, and life revolves around good food, good wine, and breathtaking views. It's Italy at its most serene and most photogenic. What happens when a city is built on brains, books, and bold ideas? Tartu, Estonia's second largest city, isn't just a place. It's a mindset. Home to the country's oldest university and a rich intellectual tradition, Tartu is where Estonia dreams big. But beyond the academia, you'll find quirky street art, cozy riverfront cafes, and a creative pulse that keeps the city young and ever curious. Founded in 1632, the University of Tartu is the soul of the city. Its neoclassical main building anchors the skyline, and its students, who make up a huge part of the population, infuse the city with energy. The university isn't just an institution, it's a way of life here. Supalin, or Soup Town, is one of Tartu's most charming districts. Named after soup ingredients, yes, the streets are called potato, pea, celery. This neighborhood is a mosaic of colorful wooden houses, leafy paths, and quiet eccentricity. It's Tartu's bohemian heart, peaceful, quirky, and full of local flavor. Tartu is a city that speaks softly, but thinks loudly. Whether you're exploring the Estonian National Museum with its bold, futuristic design, or sipping coffee along the Emajogi River, you'll feel the rhythm of a place that values ideas over appearances. Fun fact, Tartu was declared the European Capital of Culture for 2024, and it's easy to see why. They call it the Jewel of Armenia, and rightfully so. Lake Sevan is a shimmering, high-altitude marvel located over 1,900 meters above sea level, covering almost 5% of Armenia's total territory. This massive freshwater lake offers more than just beauty. It's a vital cultural and ecological landmark for the Armenian people. Perched on a peninsula that was once an island lies Sevana Vank Monastery. founded in 874 AD. The twin churches stand watch over the lake, creating one of the most iconic and photogenic views in the Caucasus. Lake Sevan is famous for its ishkan, Sevan trout, a delicacy once reserved for royalty. Visitors can enjoy it grilled or baked at lakeside restaurants, often paired with Armenia's excellent white wines. With beaches in summer and snow-capped mountains in winter, Sevan is a year-round destination. The cool, clear water attracts swimmers, windsurfers, and sunbathers, making it Armenia's version of a seaside escape. What if a city could sing with the sound of ocean winds and the sorrowful hum of fado in moonlit alleys? Lisbon, Portugal's sun-kissed capital, rises over 7 hills along the Tagus River, where tradition dances with innovation. This Atlantic-facing gem blends ancient maritime glory with colorful street life and pastel-toned architecture that bathes in golden light. Explore the labyrinth of Alfama, where trams rattle past azulejo-covered houses and mournful fado songs echo through stone corridors. Bellem's iconic tower and Geronimos Monastery whisper tales of explorers who sailed toward the edge of the known world. A must, ride Tram 28 as it winds through historic districts, or savor pastel de nata warm from the oven. Fun fact, Lisbon gets more sunshine than almost any other European capital. And at sunset, watching the sky blush over the 25 de Abril Bridge from a rooftop bar makes the city feel timeless. Lisbon doesn't shout, it seduces. How would it feel to sip fresh tea while suspended above a sea of emerald hills? Ella, Sri Lanka, is that dreamscape come alive? Surrounded by cloud-kissed peaks, verdant tea plantations, and cascading waterfalls, this quiet village in the heart of the island offers soul-healing serenity far from the tourist crowds. The region is famous for the Nine Arches Bridge, an architectural marvel rising from a jungle ravine. Watching the slow roll of a train over its graceful stone curve is like stepping into a Miyazaki film. Little Adams Peak, a short hike from town, gifts panoramic views across tea valleys that seem painted rather than real. Colonial-era railways, Buddhist stupas, and fragrant curry stalls speak to a rich blend of British heritage and Sinhalese tradition. It's a land where spiritual calm meets visual poetry. Ella is a retreat for both body and mind, a place to slow down, breathe in cardamom-scented air, and watch time drift by like mist across the mountains. What if a garden could become a city, and a city, a vision of the future? Singapore is that dream made real. This city-state in Southeast Asia rises from the tip of the Malay Peninsula like a sci-fi oasis, where cutting-edge architecture meets tropical serenity. Here, nature isn't just preserved, it's reimagined. The Marina Bay Sands skyline with its ship-like rooftop defines modern ambition. Yet, just a walk away, the super tree grove of gardens by the bay glows with bioluminescent brilliance. Explore the vivid streets of Little India or wander into the peaceful courtyards of Chinatown. Once a modest trading port, Singapore is now a cultural melting pot shaped by Chinese, Malay, Indian, and Western influences. The city is a master of clean order. Chewing gum is famously banned, but also home to world-renowned street food like the Michelin-starred chicken rice. A global financial hub and a green miracle, Singapore is the city where future and foliage intertwine. What if paradise was forgotten by time? São Tomé Island, off Africa's west coast, floats in the Gulf of Guinea like a green gem. Once a Portuguese colony, now one of the world's least visited nations, it's lush, volcanic, and humming with birdsong. You don't stumble upon São Tomé, you seek it. A needle-like volcanic plug, Pico Cão Grande pierces the sky, a surreal monolith rising from the jungle. It's one of the most dramatic rock formations on Earth and a pilgrimage site for climbers and photographers alike. Explore the haunting remains of Rosa Agostinho Neto, a former cocoa plantation. The crumbling colonial buildings now house local families, roosters, and trees, a quiet echo of a complex history. São Tomé smells of cacao, sea breeze, and rain. Life here moves slow. There are no crowds, just space to breathe and wonder. Have you ever walked through a city where clouds kiss the rooftops and time drifts like smoke from a wood stove? San Cristobal de las Casas in Chiapas sits high in the mountains of southern Mexico. Surrounded by pine forests and steep valleys, it blends indigenous tradition with colonial beauty. The air's cool, the streets cobbled, and every corner hides a story. Templo de Santo Domingo is San Cristobal's Baroque jewel. Its pink stone facade, carved in floral detail, guards a serene convent courtyard. Inside, golden altars shimmer under shafts of light. It's a place of silence and reverence, echoing centuries of faith. The artisan market explodes with color and texture. Here, Tzotzil and Tseltal women sell hand-woven textiles, embroidered huipiles, amber jewelry. Every stall is a burst of culture, and each purchase supports living traditions passed down for generations. What if you could walk through a city made of sand, frozen in time for centuries? Ait Ben Haddou, Morocco, is a striking example of earth and clay architecture, a fortified village that rises like a mirage from the edge of the Sahara. Located along the ancient caravan route between the Sahara and Marrakech, this UNESCO World Heritage Site is a maze of red brick kasbahs, winding alleys, and crumbling towers. Built entirely from mud brick, the village blends seamlessly into the ochre hills around it. Ait Ben Haddou has served as the backdrop for countless films, from Gladiator to Game of Thrones, but its true magic lies in its silence. Step inside, and you'll hear the wind echo through centuries of stories. Still home to a few Berber families, it remains a living museum, a testament to Morocco's layered past, from Almoravid empires to Hollywood myths. Visiting here is like walking into a painting baked by the sun and shaped by time. What if adventure, culture, and serenity all met at the base of snow-draped peaks, where minarets rise beside Russian cottages and alpine lakes shimmer like glass? Karakol, Kyrgyzstan. Nestled on the eastern edge of Issyk-Kul Lake and at the foot of the Tursky Alatau Mountains, Karakol is a gateway to some of Central Asia's most breathtaking landscapes. Trekkers come for the legendary Alakul Lake, a turquoise gem perched high among glaciers, and the rugged trails of Jurgalan Valley. But Karakol is more than just adventure. Its streets tell a story of diverse heritage. Chinese-style Dungan mosques, Russian Orthodox cathedrals, and colonial-era wooden homes coexist in quiet harmony. Founded by Tsarist explorers, enriched by Dungan refugees, and embraced by nomadic Kyrgyz traditions, the town pulses with cultural complexity. Don't miss a visit to the Sunday livestock market, where barter and banter fill the morning air. Karakol is where stories of the Silk Road echo across snowy peaks, authentic, soulful, and made for the wanderer at heart. How old is the oldest tree you've seen? Now imagine one that's over 7,000 years old. Yakushima Island, Japan, floats off the southern coast of Kyushu like a forgotten realm. Lush, emerald, and mist-wrapped, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the wettest places in Japan, a land of rain, moss, and myth. Its centerpiece is the ancient Jomonsugi tree, perched deep in the cedar forests. Hiking to it feels like entering another dimension. Waterfalls spill down mossy cliffs, monkeys peer through ferns, and time slows with every muddy step. The Yakusugi cedars are so old, they've lived through emperors and earthquakes alike. Yakushima has inspired countless artists, including the makers of Studio Ghibli's Princess Mononoke. The island pulses with Shinto spirituality, seen in stone shrines tucked into the forest, and rituals that honor nature's spirits. Locals live in rhythm with the land, harvesting flying fish and soaking in seaside onsen. It's not Tokyo, it's not Kyoto. It's older, quieter, wilder. In Yakushima, the forest is alive, and it remembers. Imagine a lake so calm. Its surface mirrors the sky, and in the middle, a tiny island crowned with a fairy tale church. Where is this dreamscape? It's Lake Bled, Slovenia, a gem hidden in the Julian Alps of Central Europe. Surrounded by forested hills and overlooked by a medieval cliffside castle, Bled is like a page from an old storybook. The lake's main attraction is Bled Island, accessible only by traditional wooden pletna boats. Here, visitors ring the church bell and make a wish, a centuries-old custom tied to love and fortune. Towering above the lake is Bled Castle, offering breathtaking views and a glimpse into Slovenian history dating back to 1004. Lake Bled isn't just a postcard, it's a living tradition. Slovenians flock here year-round, from summer swims to winter skating on the frozen lake. And don't leave without trying the legendary Bled cream cake, a local dessert that's almost as iconic as the island itself. Can a place be both haunting and magical, wild yet strangely intimate? The Isle of Skye says yes. The Isle of Skye, off Scotland's west coast, feels like a landscape born from myth. Its jagged peaks, moody lochs, and mossy cliffs create a dreamscape that changes with every cloud and gust of wind. This is nature untamed, where stories live in the mist. The Quirring and Old Man of Storr are surreal rock formations shaped by ancient landslides. Fairy pools sparkle with icy blue waters beneath the Cuillin Mountains, while Dunvegan Castle stands as a sentinel of Highland heritage. Each bend in the road reveals a new secret, a ruined chapel, a hidden beach, a glimpse of a red deer. Skye is steeped in Gaelic culture and folklore. Locals speak of selkies and sky dancers, and you'll hear traditional fiddles drifting from village pubs. Its beauty isn't flashy. It whispers, waits, and rewards the patient traveler with wonder. What if you could stand at the edge of the world, where jagged mountains meet icy waters and the silence feels eternal? Ushuaia is that last frontier. Ushuaia, Argentina, lies on the southern tip of South America in Tierra del Fuego, surrounded by the Marshall Mountains and the Beagle Channel. Often called the southernmost city on Earth, it's the gateway to Antarctica and a hub of Patagonian wilderness. Key attractions include the dramatic Tierra del Fuego National Park, offering glacier-fed lakes and beech forests, and the End of the World Train, a historic railway once used by prisoners. The city's port also welcomes ships bound for Antarctic expeditions. Founded as a penal colony, Ushuaia has a rich and complex past. Today, it balances rugged remoteness with a surprising cultural depth, including museums, local art, and hearty Fuegian cuisine shaped by survival in extreme latitudes. Fun fact, Ushuaia's location makes it one of the few places on Earth where you can witness both the southern lights, Aurora Australis, and snowfall in summer, a paradox only this wild corner of the planet can offer. Think paradise is unreachable? Then you haven't seen Gunayala. This autonomous archipelago off Panama's Caribbean coast, also known as the San Blas Islands, is a scatter of over 300 palm-fringed islets, only 49 of which are inhabited. Here, turquoise water laps against white sand, and the sky seems to touch the sea. Geographically isolated yet rich in culture, Gunayala is governed by the indigenous Guna people, who have fiercely preserved their language, customs, and identity. Traditional dress, vibrant molas, handmade textiles, and communal leadership define daily life. There are no luxury resorts, just eco-cabanas, hammocks, and the gentle rhythm of waves. Travelers can island hop by wooden canoe, snorkel coral reefs, or learn about Guna myths passed down through generations. Far from the modern world, Guna Yala is a testament to cultural resilience and the enduring allure of simplicity. It's not just a destination, it's a gentle rebellion against time. Can a sound be so powerful that it echoes in your chest like thunder from the gods? That's the voice of Victoria Falls. Victoria Falls straddles the border between Zambia and Zimbabwe, in southern Africa on the Zambezi River. Known locally as Mosi Oa-Tunya, the smoke that thunders. This is one of the largest and most awe-inspiring waterfalls on Earth. Spanning 1.7 kilometers and plunging over 100 meters, the falls create a mist visible from 50 kilometers away. Adventure seekers flock here for whitewater rafting, bungee jumping off the Victoria Falls Bridge, and swimming in Devil's Pool, a natural infinity edge on the very brink. Culturally, the area is rich with tribal heritage. The Kololo people named the falls, and the site remains sacred to many local communities. Guided tours often include folklore and oral traditions passed through generations. An astonishing fact: Victoria Falls is one of the few waterfalls in the world that forms a complete curtain of water during the rainy season. It's not just a sight, it's a full-body experience. What if your next adventure started where Africa meets the Atlantic in a crescendo of energy, music, and coastal sun? Luanda, the capital of Angola, rises along the ocean like a city, caught between wealth and rhythm. From colonial relics to glass towers, it pulses with contrasts and a relentless beat of transformation. Fortaleza de São Miguel, built in 1576 by the Portuguese, is Luanda's most iconic historic site. Its sturdy walls and cannons overlook the sea, while inside, blue azulejos recount colonial history. From the ramparts, the harbor stretches wide, a blend of past conquest and modern ambition. Ilha do Masulo, a narrow sandbar just offshore, offers a slice of tropical escape. Palm trees sway over calm waters, locals sip drinks on boat decks, and life slows down to the rhythm of the tide. It's where Luandans go to breathe and reconnect with the sea. What if I told you there's a city where time smells like spices, sounds like snake charmers, and looks like a painting in gold and terracotta? Marrakech, Morocco, lies in the heart of North Africa, nestled at the foot of the snow-capped Atlas Mountains. It's a living theater of colors, sounds, and textures, where every corner of the Medina, the historic old town, tells stories of traders, sultans, and ancient dynasties. The city is famed for its bustling souks, the majestic Koutoubia Mosque, and the spellbinding Jardin Majorelle, once home to Yves Saint Laurent. In the evening, Jemaa El Fna Square transforms into an open-air stage of musicians, storytellers, and food stalls, where the air fills with aromas of grilled meats and saffron. Known as the Red City for its blush-colored walls, Marrakech is both deeply traditional and strikingly modern. Intriguing fact: the city's original name, Marrakech, gave birth to the country's name in many languages. A trip here isn't just sightseeing, it's full immersion in a rich, mystical world. Have you ever imagined walking beneath a sky that dances? Lapland, Finland, is where the northern lights aren't a rare phenomenon. They're part of everyday life. This Arctic region, stretching across northern Finland, is more than a destination. It's a winter fairy tale wrapped in silence, snow, and starlight. Lapland is defined by its pristine wilderness, endless forests blanketed in snow, frozen lakes shimmering under moonlight, and hushed pine groves where reindeer wander freely. Rovaniemi, its capital, is known as the official hometown of Santa Claus, attracting families and dreamers alike to its festive magic. But go further north, and the real magic begins. staying in a glass igloo in Sarselka, watching the aurora borealis swirl above you in green and violet ribbons. The Sami people, Lapland's indigenous inhabitants, offer a window into a nomadic culture rooted in harmony with nature. Dog sledding, ice fishing, snowshoeing, here winter isn't endured, it's celebrated. Whether you come for adventure or tranquility, Lapland transforms your idea of cold into something warm and unforgettable. What if a medieval fortress rose from a maze of blood-red rocks shaped like ancient gods and sleeping giants? It's not fantasy, it's Belogradchik. Belogradchik, Bulgaria. Tucked against the Balkan Mountains in Bulgaria's northwest, this mystical town is home to one of the country's most surreal landscapes. The Belogradchik Rocks, a labyrinth of towering sandstone and conglomerate formations, stretch across 30 kilometers, shaped by centuries of wind and water into bizarre, often human-like forms. The crown jewel is the Belogradchik Fortress, partially built into the rock formations themselves. With origins dating back to Roman times and expansions during the Ottoman era, the fortress offers panoramic views over alien terrain and whispering pine forests. This region has long sparked legends. Locals tell tales of monks turned to stone, rock guardians of treasure, and an exiled princess whose sorrow shaped the valley. The town itself is quiet, authentic, and deeply rooted in Bulgarian tradition. Belogradchik is more than just a destination. It's a collision of geology, myth, and forgotten history, standing still under a sky that seems to honor its silence. What if the edge of the world had Wi-Fi, street art, and gourmet restaurants? Nuuk, Greenland's capital, may be small, but it pulses with bold culture and surreal landscapes. Located on Greenland's southwestern coast, this Arctic city is framed by ice-streaked mountains and the vast Labrador Sea. The heart of Nuuk's modern identity is the Katwaq Cultural Center. Designed to resemble the undulating northern lights, this architectural gem hosts film screenings, concerts, and exhibitions celebrating Greenlandic art and Inuit heritage. Walk down to the Old Harbor, where colorful wooden houses line the water's edge, and fishing boats bob near centuries-old colonial buildings. It's where Nuuk's past and present converge, offering a taste of its maritime roots. Despite its remote location, Nuuk is full of surprises. Fusion cuisine that blends Arctic ingredients with global trends, street murals that tackle climate change, and locals who speak fluent Greenlandic and Danish. It's also one of the best places on the planet to witness the aurora borealis dancing across the night sky. Few places blend ancient ice and modern life like this Arctic capital. What if a whole city were split by a gorge, yet held together by centuries of breathtaking architecture? Ronda, Spain is exactly that. A town suspended between earth and sky. Ronda, Spain is perched atop the dramatic El Tajo Gorge in the Andalusian hills of southern Spain. The city is literally divided in two by the canyon, with the historic and modern quarters connected by the legendary Puente Nuevo, an 18th century stone bridge that seems to defy gravity. The Old Town, known as La Ciudad, is a maze of cobbled streets, Moorish courtyards, and whitewashed houses. Ronda is also home to Spain's oldest bullring, Plaza de Toros, which inspired Ernest Hemingway and Orson Welles. The surrounding landscape of olive groves, vineyards, and rolling hills adds a rustic charm to this elevated retreat. Its Moorish roots run deep, visible in the arabesque arches and hammams. Yet it's also a place of innovation and resilience, where history and modern life coexist atop dramatic cliffs. At sunset, the gorge glows in hues of amber and crimson, making every view postcard perfect. Can you imagine sailing through a maze of emerald waters, dotted with thousands of limestone pillars, rising like ancient sentinels from the sea? Ha Long Bay, Vietnam, is that breathtaking spectacle, where nature sculpts a dreamlike world of misty islands and hidden caves. Located in northeastern Vietnam along the Gulf of Tonkin, This UNESCO World Heritage Site is home to over 1,600 limestone islets, many topped with lush vegetation. The bay's surreal beauty is best explored by traditional wooden junks, which glide past floating fishing villages, grottos like Tien Kung, Heavenly Palace, and islets shaped like dragons, turtles, and even kissing rocks. Deeply entwined with Vietnamese legend, Ha Long means descending dragon, referring to mythic creatures said to have created the islands. Beyond its cinematic scenery, the bay holds prehistoric cave paintings and evidence of ancient human habitation. Here's a secret. Ha Long Bay's twin, Bai Tu Long Bay, lies just northeast, quieter but equally magical. Can a river really be this blue? The Socha looks like it flows from a dream. Socha Valley, Slovenia, cuts through the Julian Alps with a turquoise ribbon of pure, alpine water. The Socha River, famed for its surreal color, is considered one of the most beautiful rivers in Europe and perhaps the world. This valley is a paradise for adventure seekers. Whitewater rafting, kayaking, canyoning, and hiking are all part of daily life here. The surrounding peaks of Triglav National Park add cinematic drama to every scene. Trails like the Alp Adria and Socha Trail weave through meadows, waterfalls, and hanging bridges. History whispers through the landscape too. The valley was a fierce WWI front line. The Kobrid Museum, awarded for its depth, captures the brutal beauty of the Isonzo Front, immortalized by Hemingway in A Farewell to Arms. Slovenians hold this place dear, a pocket of wildness that embodies national pride. Socha Valley isn't just a photo op. It's a multi-sensory immersion into purity, courage, and the elemental power of water. What if the secrets of ancient Christianity were hidden not in Rome or Jerusalem, but in a sleepy town cradled by misty Georgian mountains? Mtsketa, Georgia, one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world, is the country's spiritual heart. Just 20 kilometers from Tbilisi, where the Aragvi and Mtkvari rivers merge. This city exudes timelessness. Cobbled streets, sacred chants, and golden light flickering from centuries-old icons. The centerpiece is Svetitsko Cathedral, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Built in the 11th century, it's believed to house Christ's mantle. The cathedral's massive stone structure, adorned with faded frescoes and medieval carvings, dominates the skyline. Pilgrims and tourists alike stand awestruck beneath its dome, where history breathes from every corner. Overlooking the city from a hilltop is Jvari Monastery, another UNESCO gem. Dating back to the 6th century, its cruciform design inspired churches throughout the Caucasus. From here, the view of Mtsketa, framed by two rivers, is not just breathtaking. It's spiritual, as if earth and heaven shake hands. Mtsketa isn't about grand city vibes. It's about presence. Every stone path, every church bell seems to whisper, "Remember." This ancient town embodies the soul of Georgia: faith, resilience, and quiet beauty. It's not just a destination, it's a pilgrimage. What if the sea shimmered like liquid jade, and every twist of the coastline revealed a secret cove or pod of dolphins? Queen Charlotte Sound. New Zealand is nature's masterpiece, untouched, serene, and soul-stirring. Located at the northern tip of New Zealand's South Island, this labyrinth of drowned river valleys stretches between steep forested hills and deep blue waters. It's one of the Marlborough Sounds, a region best explored by kayak, boat, or hiking the renowned Queen Charlotte Track. This 70-kilometer trail offers a perfect blend of coastal vistas, native bush, and secluded beaches. Historically, this area was significant for both Maori and early European explorers, including Captain James Cook. Today, it's a haven for marine life. Dolphins, seals, and even orcas are frequent visitors. With its gentle pace and cinematic landscapes, Queen Charlotte Sound feels like a place suspended in time. where every moment invites you to breathe deeper and wander slower. Have you ever walked through a dream painted in every shade of blue? Chefchaouen, Morocco, tucked in the Rif Mountains of northern Africa, this small town seems untouched by time. The entire Medina is painted in hypnotic shades of indigo and cobalt, earning it the nickname, the Blue Pearl of Morocco. Beyond its palette, Chefchaouen offers a sensory journey through narrow alleys, lined with arched doorways, flower pots, and hand-woven textiles. The town's Kasbah, an ochre fortress from the 15th century, sits at the heart of the Medina, while the surrounding hills offer hiking trails with panoramic views and waterfalls like Ras El Ma. Founded by Moorish and Jewish exiles in the 1400s, the town still reflects Andalusian architecture and Islamic tradition. Its blue walls are steeped in mystery. Some say they symbolize the sky and heaven. Others claim it keeps mosquitoes away. No matter the reason, the result is spellbinding. Chefchaouen isn't about sights to tick off. It's about slowing down, listening to the call to prayer echo through the mountains, sipping mint tea as cats weave through sunlit courtyards. It's not just a place to visit, it's a mood, a breath, a brushstroke come to life. Imagine a place where waterfalls tumble from lush cliffs into the Atlantic, where crater lakes shimmer under volcanic peaks, and hydrangeas line every road like a painting. Flores, the westernmost island of the Azores, feels like the edge of the earth, or the beginning of another world. Also known as the Lakes of the Sentinels, this surreal spot features dozens of waterfalls pouring into an emerald basin. The silence, broken only by birds and falling water, is otherworldly. Europe's westernmost village hugs the coastline where cliffs drop into turquoise ocean, a perfect base for hikes, swims, and volcanic pools, and stargazing that'll leave you speechless. Flores isn't flashy, it's poetic. With fewer than 4,000 residents, it's a place to breathe, walk slowly, and feel small in the best possible way. This is Europe's last frontier, and its most magical. What if your winter fairy tale was real? A place where snow-dusted peaks reflect in crystal lakes, and time seems to slow under alpine skies. Kranjska Gora, Slovenia. Nestled in the Julian Alps near the borders with Austria and Italy, this charming Slovenian village feels like a scene from a snow globe. It lies in the northwestern tip of the country, surrounded by Triglav National Park and the dramatic peaks of Mount Prsank and Mount Razor. While it's famous for its world-class ski slopes and the annual FIS Alpine Ski World Cup, Kranjska Gora enchants year-round. In summer, wildflower-covered meadows and emerald rivers turn the region into a hiker's dream. Don't miss the breathtaking Zelenci Springs, whose vibrant turquoise waters are fed by subterranean alpine sources. With its roots in medieval trade routes, the town still exudes old-world charm, blending wooden chalets, cozy cafes, and a deep sense of tradition. Local legends abound, like the tale of the mythical Goldhorn, whose spirit protects these mountains. Whether chasing snow or sun, Kranjska Gora is where Slovenia's natural magic reveals itself. What if the domes you see today once shimmered with the dust of ancient caravans? Bukhara, Uzbekistan, is not just a city. It's a living manuscript of the Silk Road, filled with turquoise minarets, sun-drenched courtyards, and the whispered echoes of centuries-old trade. Set in the Kizilkum Desert, Bukhara has over 2,000 years of history layered into its walls. At its heart lies the Kalyan Minaret, once the tallest structure in Central Asia, rising beside an exquisite blue-domed mosque. Wander through the labyrinth of bazaars beneath domed roofs, where carpets, spices, and stories are still traded. This was once a hub of Islamic learning, home to scholars, poets, and architects. Each madrasa, caravanserai, and hammam speaks of intellectual and spiritual prosperity. Its old city is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, preserved in astonishing authenticity. Bukhara doesn't just show you history, it lets you step inside it. What if a fairy tale forest and a surreal rock kingdom collided? Saxon Switzerland, Germany is a place where nature sculpts cathedrals from stone. Saxon Switzerland, Germany is a breathtaking national park in the eastern part of the country, near the border with the Czech Republic. Despite its name, it's located in Saxony and owes its Switzerland label to the romantic 18th century artists who fell in love with its dramatic sandstone formations. The region's crown jewel is the Baste Bridge, a stone walkway connecting towering pinnacles, offering panoramic views over the Elbe River Valley. Hiking trails wind through labyrinths of cliffs, gorges, and lush forests, leading to hidden caves and ancient fortresses like Königstein. Steeped in folklore and artistic inspiration, Saxon Switzerland has drawn painters, poets, and hikers for generations. It's not just a destination, it's a living canvas where nature and imagination dance in perfect harmony, offering every visitor their own personal fairy tale. What if you stood beneath a granite cliff so towering, it makes skyscrapers look like toys? Yosemite National Park, USA delivers nature at its most humbling, raw, colossal, and soul-stirring. Located in California's Sierra Nevada mountains, Yosemite spans over 3,000 square kilometers of alpine wilderness, but its crown jewel is Yosemite Valley. Here, the granite monoliths of El Capitan and Half Dome rise like sentinels over vast meadows and forests of ancient sequoias. Yosemite Falls, the tallest waterfall in North America, thunders down the cliffs, while Mirror Lake reflects mountain peaks with eerie stillness. Beyond its natural marvels, Yosemite is steeped in history. Native American tribes called it home for thousands of years. Later, it became central to the birth of America's conservation movement, thanks to the efforts of John Muir. Few places on Earth combine such raw geological power with serene natural beauty. Want a secret? Visit in early spring, when waterfalls roar and crowds haven't yet arrived. Imagine stepping into a world where the sea glows turquoise and white beaches melt into lush jungle. The Similan Islands, lying off Thailand's Andaman coast, are part of a national park renowned for world-class diving and surreal marine biodiversity. These granite islands, only accessible by boat, are an untouched paradise in the Indian Ocean. Donald Duck Bay, named for its rock formations resembling the cartoon character's head, offers powder-soft sands and panoramic views from the Sail Rock, a popular hiking point for breathtaking ocean vistas. Below the waves, Richelieu Rock reveals itself as one of the best diving spots in Asia. This horseshoe-shaped reef is alive with manta rays, whale sharks, and vibrant coral fans. The islands close seasonally for environmental recovery, preserving their pristine condition. Strict visitor limits make every trip feel like a private expedition into the wild. What if a medieval village clung to a cliff above the sea, offering views so perfect they stop your breath? Aze, perched high above the French Riviera, between Nice and Monaco, is a mountaintop village that feels frozen in time. Winding stone paths lead you through fragrant gardens, centuries-old buildings, and breathtaking terraces with panoramic views of the Mediterranean below. The village's exotic garden, Jardin Exotique, is a sanctuary of succulents and sculpture, perched on the cliff's edge. Walk its narrow alleys and discover artisan shops, perfumeries, and a serenity that stands in stark contrast to the glitz of the nearby coast. Aze is also known for inspiring artists and writers. Did you know? Friedrich Nietzsche often climbed from the sea to the village on a path now named after him. It's not just beauty, it's introspection in stone and sea breeze, one of the Côte d'Azur's most magical secrets. What if you could swim in ancient sacred wells, once believed to be portals to the underworld? The cenotes of Yucatan, Mexico, are natural sinkholes formed by the collapse of limestone bedrock, revealing crystal-clear groundwater beneath. Scattered across the lush jungles of the Yucatan Peninsula, these hidden pools offer one of the most magical swimming experiences on Earth. Some, like Iquil or Cenote Suiton, are open to the sky and ringed with jungle vines, while others, like Cenote Xquequén, lie deep underground in caves filled with dramatic stalactites. The water is cool, turquoise, and incredibly pure. These cenotes were sacred to the ancient Maya, used for ritual offerings, and believed to be entrances to Xibalba, the Mayan underworld. There are over 6,000 cenotes in the region, many accessible from the city of Valladolid or tourist hubs like Tulum. Whether for diving, snorkeling, or simply floating in silence, every cenote offers a moment of awe. This is not just a swim, it's a plunge into geological time and ancient myth. Off Scotland's rugged west coast lies the Isle of Coll, a quiet, windswept island where nature reigns and silence sings. With no streetlights and barely 200 residents, Coll is one of the UK's first dark sky islands, a sanctuary for stargazers and solitude seekers. A pristine white sand beach framed by dunes and wildflowers. You might not see another soul for hours, but you'll hear seabirds, wind, and the calming hush of the Atlantic. On clear nights, the Milky Way stretches like a celestial river overhead. With zero light pollution, it's one of the best places in Europe to see the stars, and maybe even the northern lights. Bike along single-lane roads, explore Iron Age ruins, or simply sit and watch seals play in the surf. On Coll, time slows down, and in that slowness, something deep and beautiful returns. Have you ever soaked in 16th century thermal waters while gazing at Baroque domes and a skyline of spires? Only Budapest offers this surreal contrast of past and present. Budapest, Hungary, straddles the Danube River in Central Europe, uniting the historic cities of Buda and Pest. Its geography is a blend of rolling hills, elegant boulevards, and natural hot springs bubbling beneath the surface. The Hungarian Parliament building, Buda Castle, and Fisherman's Bastion define its Gothic and Renaissance skyline. The Széchenyi thermal baths and Geller Spa offer timeless relaxation with a touch of grandeur. By night, ruin bars in the Jewish Quarter come alive in crumbling, art-covered buildings. Historically, Budapest has been a crossroads of empires, from Romans to Ottomans to the Habsburgs. This layered past lives on in its architecture, cuisine, and spirited cultural pride. One curious detail: the city sits atop more than 120 thermal springs, making it one of the world's top spa capitals. Its healing waters have been in use since Roman times, making wellness a deeply rooted tradition here. Have you ever believed a mountain could whisper prayers? Koyasan, Japan, makes you feel exactly that. Tucked deep in the forested peaks of the Ki Peninsula on Honshu, this sacred town is the heart of Shingon Buddhism. Covered in mist and silence, the area transports visitors far beyond the ordinary, making every breath feel like a step into the spiritual. The most soul-stirring sight here is Okunoin, Japan's largest cemetery, where over 200,000 tombstones line mossy paths leading to the mausoleum of Kobo Daishi. Lanterns flicker gently, even in daylight, casting an eternal glow over centuries of devotion. The Danjo-Garan Temple Complex is another key draw, home to vivid pagodas, ancient halls, and the dramatic vermilion Konpon Daito, a symbol of cosmic balance. This is where pilgrims and monks meditate in deep reverence, often barefoot on sacred ground. Founded in 816, Koyasan is more than a religious site. It's a living spiritual community. You can stay in a temple lodging, shukubo, wake to monks' chants, and eat traditional vegetarian cuisine, shojin ryori. Few places on earth offer such a complete immersion into peace and reflection. Have you ever walked through a city carved entirely out of rock, where time seems to stand still? Madeira, Italy is a place unlike any other. an ancient city where homes, churches, and alleyways are hewn directly into the limestone cliffs. Located in the remote region of Basilicata in southern Italy, Matera's heart lies in its sassy districts. Stone cave dwellings that form a maze of interconnected terraces, staircases, and courtyards. These prehistoric troglodyte homes have been continuously inhabited for over 9,000 years, making Matera one of the world's oldest living cities. Wander through rock-cut chapels adorned with fading frescoes, or stay overnight in boutique cave hotels that blend ancient simplicity with modern comfort. Once infamous for poverty and neglect, Matera has undergone a cultural renaissance. It's now a UNESCO World Heritage Site and has starred in films from Ben-Hur to No Time to Die. At sunset, the entire city glows golden, casting long shadows over its time-worn stones, a hauntingly beautiful scene that feels both timeless and otherworldly. Have you ever walked through a village where time simply stopped? Albarracin. Spain isn't just historic. It feels like a medieval dream come to life. Albarracin. Spain is a fortified town, nestled in the hills of Aragon, often named the most beautiful village in Spain. Enclosed by medieval walls and perched on a steep hill above the Guadalaviar River, this rose-hued town seems untouched by the modern world. Its narrow alleys wind between terracotta-colored buildings with wooden balconies and iron lanterns. The town's architecture is a mix of Islamic and Christian influences, reflecting its complex past during the Reconquista. The 10th century castle and cathedral add to its timeless ambiance. Declared a national monument, Albarracin resists commercial overdevelopment, preserving its authentic charm. Evenings here are especially magical. The silence of the narrow streets, broken only by the distant chime of church bells. It's not a place you pass through, it's a place you feel, like stepping into a forgotten chapter of Europe's story. You believe you've seen all wonders of the world, until you stand beneath a monument built before history even had a name. The Pyramids of Giza, Egypt, one of the planet's most iconic ancient sites, rise from the golden sands of the Giza Plateau on the African continent. Just west of Cairo, this trio of monumental tombs, Khufu, Khafra, and Menkaure, stand as the last remaining wonder of the ancient world. These towering structures were built over 4,500 years ago as elaborate burial chambers for pharaohs and are flanked by the enigmatic Sphinx, a colossal limestone guardian with the body of a lion and the head of a king. The symmetry, precision, and scale of the pyramids continue to puzzle and inspire scientists and travelers alike. A walk through this desert necropolis is a direct step into ancient mythology and mysticism. Each stone block, some weighing over 80 tons, was moved without modern machinery, a feat that still evokes awe. Fun fact: the Great Pyramid was once the tallest man-made structure for over 3,800 years. The sheer presence of the site makes it more than a destination. It's a pilgrimage through time. What if the calmest beaches in Mexico weren't in Cancun or Tulum, but tucked away on the Baja California Peninsula? La Paz, Mexico offers an untouched coastal experience where turquoise waters meet desert cliffs, and the Sea of Cortez reveals its wonders without the crowds. Jacques Cousteau once called this sea the world's aquarium, and it's easy to see why. Often ranked among the most beautiful beaches in the world, Playa Balandra looks surreal. A shallow, warm lagoon with white sandbars, mangroves, and mushroom-shaped rock formations. It's ideal for paddleboarding or simply floating in silence. The La Paz Malecón is a breezy waterfront walkway lined with sculptures, seafood cafes, and families enjoying the sunset. Bronze dolphins and whale sharks pay tribute to the marine life offshore. Sunsets here aren't just pretty, they're spiritual. The mountains turn orange, the water becomes glass, and the city exhales. La Paz is quiet magic wrapped in sunlight and salt air. What if Japan's Alps rivaled Switzerland, minus the crowds and souvenir stalls? Kamakochi Valley is a pristine stretch of the Japanese Northern Alps, accessible only from spring to fall. With alpine peaks, crystal clear rivers, and sacred shrines tucked into forests, it's one of Japan's most breathtaking hidden natural wonders. This iconic suspension bridge crosses the Azusa River with dramatic mountain views all around. Mist curls from the forest, while snowcaps glisten in the distance, and you're more likely to meet a macaque than a tourist. A sacred and serene pond near Hotaka Shrine, Myojin Pond reflects surrounding trees like a mirror. Local legends say a water deity dwells here, and it's not hard to believe. Kamakochi is not just scenery, it's an experience of stillness. No cars are allowed in the valley, and you walk through nature's cathedral in complete peace. For a moment, the world feels hushed and holy. You think Central Asia is all desert and steppe? Think again. Almaty is a city wrapped in mountains, bursting with European charm. Almaty, Kazakhstan, sits in the foothills of the Transili Alatau Mountains in southeastern Central Asia. It's a rare fusion of urban elegance and alpine wilderness, once the capital of Kazakhstan and still its cultural and financial heart. The city is flanked by towering peaks, and a 30-minute drive takes you to Big Almaty Lake, an ethereal turquoise reservoir surrounded by pine forests and snow-capped cliffs. In winter, head to Shimbalak, one of Central Asia's best ski resorts. Within the city, Panfilov Park and the colorful Zenkov Cathedral capture the essence of Russian Orthodox architecture. Historically, Almaty was a stop along the ancient Silk Road, and that cosmopolitan energy still lingers in its European-style cafes, theaters, and bustling bazaars. Interesting detail. Almaty translates to City of Apples, and the region is believed to be the original home of the domestic apple. A modern skyline, Soviet relics, and mountain views, Almaty is where tradition meets adventure in a way you never expect. What if a single place could feel like both a European fairy tale and a tropical dream? Gala, Sri Lanka, sits on the island's southwestern coast and enchants visitors with its timeless blend of Dutch colonial architecture and coastal serenity. Nestled beside the Indian Ocean, it's where cobbled streets meet palms and history whispers from coral walls. Built by the Portuguese and later fortified by the Dutch, Gal Fort is the crown jewel of the city. With its massive ramparts, lighthouse views, and crumbling bastions, it feels like walking through a living museum. Inside, art galleries and cafes nestle among ancient walls, blending modern life with colonial charm. One fascinating fact: Gala is one of the best preserved sea forts in all of South Asia. Time seems to pause here. Every sunset over the ramparts feels like a private showing of nature's masterpiece, as the sky ignites above the endless Indian Ocean horizon. You think you've seen deserts? Then what would you call a desert filled with glowing turquoise lagoons? Lençóis Maranhenses. Brazil is one of South America's most surreal landscapes, located in the Maranhão state of northeastern Brazil, where the Atlantic coast melts into a sea of white sand dunes and rain-fed lagoons. Stretching over 1,500 square kilometers, this national park is a seasonal wonder shaped by nature's rhythm. During the rainy season, from May to September, the valleys between the dunes collect fresh water, forming thousands of crystal-clear lagoons in mesmerizing shades of blue and green. Some are large enough to swim in, like Lagoa Azul and Lagoa Bonita, creating an otherworldly scene that defies logic. Though it resembles a desert, Lençóis Maranhense receives far too much rainfall to be classified as one. Its name means bedsheets of Maranhão, due to the endless, rippling dunes that resemble linen blowing in the wind. This isn't a mirage. It's one of Brazil's most magical secrets. What if the road itself was the destination? Imagine a place where mountains plunge into the Pacific, and every turn reveals a new horizon. That's the spell of Big Sur. Big Sur, USA, stretches along California's central coast between Carmel and San Simeon. Nestled between the Santa Lucia Mountains and the Pacific Ocean, this rugged, cliff-lined coast is one of the most dramatic in North America. Iconic stops include Bixby Creek Bridge, a sweeping architectural marvel, McWay Falls, an 80-foot cascade spilling directly into a turquoise cove, and Pfeiffer Beach, with its rare purple sand and surreal rock formations. The Pacific Coast Highway winds along this stretch, offering breathtaking views at every mile. Big Sur has long been a retreat for artists, writers, and mystics, from Jack Kerouac to Henry Miller, drawn by its raw natural power and mystical isolation. It's a place to unplug, hike ancient redwood groves, and watch whales breach offshore. Little known fact: there are no streetlights, billboards, or even cell service across much of Big Sur by design. This land remains intentionally wild, inviting you to listen to the sea and the silence. In the heart of Central Asia, surrounded by snow-capped peaks, lies Lake Issyk-Kul, the hot lake that never freezes, even in the dead of winter. At over 1,600 meters above sea level, this alpine lake is both a natural wonder and a cultural crossroads of the Silk Road. The resort town of Cholponnada offers beaches, Soviet-era sanatoriums, and an open-air museum with petroglyphs dating back thousands of years, remnants of Scythians, Turks, and other ancient peoples who once passed through. Around the lake, you can stay in traditional yurts, taste fermented mare's milk, kumis, and ride horses across sweeping steppe landscapes. It's a glimpse into nomadic life unchanged for centuries. Issyk-Kul blends raw beauty with quiet mysticism, a place where turquoise water meets icy mountains and old Silk Road legends seem to rise from the mist. It's a peaceful retreat that also hints at ancient secrets still buried beneath the lake's shimmering surface. How would it feel to walk through a forest where trees grow upside down and animals exist nowhere else on Earth? Madagascar, the world's fourth largest island, lies off Africa's southeastern coast, a lost continent in miniature. Isolated for millions of years, it hosts a surreal ecosystem where 90% of wildlife is found nowhere else. Think lemurs leaping between baobab trees, chameleons changing colors mid-step, and forests that seem drawn from myth. The Avenue of the Baobabs is its most iconic sight, a dusty road lined with towering bottle-shaped trees that glow golden at sunset. Inland, rainforests like Andasibe teem with nocturnal calls and rare orchids. The beaches? Untouched perfection on the shores of Nosy Be and Ile Sainte-Marie. Madagascar's culture is equally diverse, shaped by African, Asian, and Polynesian roots. It's a place of ancestral reverence, music driven by handmade instruments, and a rhythm of life that feels timeless. Few places combine biodiversity, strangeness, and beauty quite like this island does. Do you believe in miracles carved from stone? Lalibela, Ethiopia, makes you question reality. Hidden in the country's northern highlands, it's a sacred mountain town where entire churches were hewn from living rock. Not built, but sculpted downward, like negative space transformed into sanctuary. The Church of St. George is the most iconic. Cut into a cross shape from solid volcanic rock, it's not just a marvel of medieval engineering, it's spiritual architecture at its peak. Pilgrims in white robes still descend its carved trenches in silence, as if stepping into another world. These rock-hewn wonders date back to the 12th century and remain in active use. Lalibela is often called the New Jerusalem of Africa, a holy site that draws believers and wonder-seekers alike, leaving them breathless at what faith and human hands can achieve from stone. How did monasteries end up on top of towering stone pillars? The answer lies in one of the most mystical landscapes on Earth, Meteora. Meteora, Greece, rises dramatically from the plains of Thessaly in central Greece. These colossal rock formations, sculpted by wind and water over 60 million years, now host a complex of ancient Orthodox monasteries perched impossibly atop their peaks. Out of the original 24 monasteries, 6 remain active today, including the Holy Monastery of Great Meteorin and the Monastery of Varlam. These sacred structures blend seamlessly into the stone, accessible by steep steps or rope baskets once used by monks. Meteora's religious history began in the 14th century, when hermits sought isolation and spiritual clarity in the cliffs. The site is now a UNESCO World Heritage Treasure, revered for both its natural beauty and spiritual significance. Intriguing fact, Meteora means suspended in the air, a fitting name for these gravity-defying sanctuaries that seem to float between earth and sky, inviting quiet reflection and awe. What would it feel like to watch a cathedral-sized iceberg crack, roar, and slide into the sea right before your eyes? That's everyday reality in Ilulissat, Greenland, a coastal town perched on the edge of the Ilulissat Ice Fjord, a UNESCO World Heritage Site on the west coast of Greenland. The ice fjord is fed by the Cermak-Kujalik Glacier, one of the fastest and most active glaciers in the Northern Hemisphere. Towering icebergs break off into the fjord and drift toward Disko Bay, creating a dynamic, ever-changing landscape. Ilulissat isn't just about nature, it's also a cultural hub. The town is rich in Inuit heritage, with traditional wooden homes, dog sledding, and Arctic cuisine. It's a place where ancient customs meet a rapidly changing climate. Fascinating fact, this very glacier is responsible for producing the iceberg that sank the Titanic. What if a city could be wrapped in fog and framed by a crimson bridge? Would you believe such a place exists? Welcome to San Francisco, USA. Nestled along the rugged Pacific coastline of Northern California, this iconic city combines natural drama with architectural wonder. The steep hills offer panoramic views over the bay, while the legendary Golden Gate Bridge pierces through mist like a gateway to another world. Explore the vibrant neighborhoods, the Bohemian Mission District, historic Chinatown, and the Victorian-lined streets of Haight-Ashbury. Alcatraz Island looms offshore, once a prison and now a haunting monument to the past. San Francisco's cultural layers are deep, from gold rush beginnings to counterculture revolutions and tech-fueled transformation. Curiously, the city's famously foggy weather has a name: Carl. Locals even give it its own social media presence. With its historic cable cars, buzzing piers, and art-filled alleys, San Francisco isn't just a destination, it's an ever-evolving storybook carved into cliffs. Kyoto, Japan. Located on the island of Honshu, Kyoto was once the imperial capital and remains the spiritual heart of Japanese tradition. Surrounded by mountains, its temples, shrines, and tea houses are nestled into a city that feels like a living museum. At the center of Kyoto's timeless allure is the Fushimi Inari Shrine, where thousands of vermilion torii gates wind through a forested hillside. Walking through them is like stepping into a sacred corridor, suspended in time and silence. Kyoto is home to 17 UNESCO World Heritage Sites and over 1,600 Buddhist temples. Yet what truly defines it is its subtlety. The quiet rustle of kimono fabric in Gion, the serene reflection in a Zen garden, or the aroma of matcha during a tea ceremony. It's a place that whispers rather than shouts. While modern life pulses discreetly beneath the surface, Kyoto remains a sanctuary of refinement. Here, beauty isn't just seen, it's practiced, preserved, and passed down through generations. What if a single mountain defined a nation's soul? Mount Triglav, Slovenia's highest peak, rises like a crown in the heart of the Julian Alps. Its image adorns the national flag. Climbing it is a rite of passage for Slovenians. The mountain isn't just a summit, it's a symbol, Encircling the peak is Triglav National Park, Slovenia's only national park. Alpine meadows bloom with wildflowers in summer, while icy waterfalls crash through deep limestone gorges. It's a hiker's sanctuary. At the foot of Triglav lies Lake Bohinj, still, silent, and framed by jagged cliffs. Less known than nearby Bled, it's wilder and more serene. Canoe at sunrise, and you'll see the mist lift like a curtain. The name Triglav means three heads. Legend says it's home to a three-faced god watching over land, sea, and sky. That mythology still lingers in the air. What if there was a city where European elegance meets Soviet history, surrounded by the Baltic breeze? Kaliningrad, Russia, is that hidden enclave. Nestled between Poland and Lithuania, it's a Russian exclave that feels like a portal between worlds. With its blend of Gothic architecture, seaside cliffs, and amber shores, Kaliningrad invites you to explore a lesser-known corner of Europe. The city's past is layered. Once the proud Königsberg of Prussian kings and philosophers, crossed the wooden bridge to Kant Island, where the Gothic Königsberg Cathedral stands in serene dignity. Immanuel Kant, the great philosopher, rests beside its walls, a quiet intellectual heartbeat in the city's core. The museum inside explores his legacy and the city's Germanic past. Inside, a reconstructed fort tower lies the Amber Museum, a glowing tribute to the Baltic gold. Discover ancient insect fossils, royal jewelry, and a room that radiates in golden hues. Kaliningrad sits on one of the world's largest amber deposits. Look closer and you'll find a city rebuilding its identity. Part fortress, part beach town, part ghost of empire. Few places feel this multidimensional. What if you could stroll through a city where medieval castles rise above Georgian streets and every alley whispers legends of the past? Welcome to Edinburgh, Scotland, a place where history and imagination collide. Located in the heart of the United Kingdom, this iconic city is nestled between volcanic hills and the chilly shores of the North Sea. Its geography makes it a city of natural drama and architectural contrast. Edinburgh's crown jewel is its castle, perched atop an ancient volcanic rock. From here, the Royal Mile leads you past St. Giles's Cathedral and the Palace of Holyrood House, weaving through centuries of Scottish lore. Don't miss Arthur's Seat, a dormant volcano offering panoramic views of the entire city. As the cultural capital of Scotland, Edinburgh is home to the famous Fringe Festival, the largest arts festival in the world. Its historic old and new towns are UNESCO World Heritage Sites, blending cobbled streets with neoclassical grandeur. And here's a twist. J.K. Rowling wrote parts of Harry Potter in local cafes, making it a pilgrimage site for fans worldwide. What if silence had a color? In Asen, it's turquoise, carved into glaciers and mirrored in fjords. Aisen region, Chile, lies deep within Patagonia, a vast, untouched wilderness stretching from the Andes to the Pacific. With fewer residents than some city blocks, it's a place where nature still roars louder than humans. Here, the marble caves of General Carrera Lake glow in surreal shades, carved by water over millennia. You can kayak through their smooth blue tunnels or watch icebergs drift under the gaze of the northern Patagonian icefield. From the towering peaks of Cerro Castillo to the deep valleys of the Carretera Austral, every turn reveals a new frontier. Founded late in Chile's expansion, Asen has a rugged settler history, cattle herding, isolation, and survival. Yet today it draws nature seekers and adventurers craving solitude and grandeur. Fishing villages remain unchanged, and you can still hear indigenous Kaweskar echoes in the wind. There are no mega resorts here, no rush, just sky, rock, ice, and time itself. Asen doesn't try to impress, it just exists, fiercely, beautifully untouched. You believe in gravity until you see how Positano clings to a cliff like it's defying the laws of nature. The Amalfi Coast, Italy, is a shimmering ribbon of coastline in southern Italy's Campania region, stretching from Sorrento to Salerno along the Tyrrhenian Sea. It's known for vertiginous cliffs, pastel villages, and citrus groves that scent the breeze. The iconic town of Positano cascades down the mountainside, each building stacked above the next like a pastel-colored amphitheater. Nearby, Ravello offers sweeping sea views and romantic gardens that once inspired Wagner. The region was once a vital hub in the powerful maritime republic of Amalfi. Today, its narrow lanes and centuries-old churches preserve the rhythms of coastal life long before tourism ever arrived. Fun fact, lemons here grow the size of grapefruits, and the world-famous limoncello is born from their thick, fragrant zest. The Amalfi Coast isn't just a destination, it's a vertical dreamland kissed by salt and sun. What if a postcard came to life, with alpine peaks, a glassy lake, and pastel chalets mirrored in the water? Hallstatt, nestled in Austria's Salzkammergut region, is so stunning it almost feels unreal. Perched between Lake Hallstatt and towering mountains, this lakeside village is one of Europe's most photographed destinations. And for good reason. Its 16th century houses seem to float on the water's edge, framed by swans and steep cliffs. Wander narrow lanes, visit the World Heritage Skywalk, or take a boat ride across the lake for panoramic views that defy description. Above, a centuries-old salt mine offers underground adventures and breathtaking vistas. Hallstatt's charm is quiet and immersive. It's not a place you rush, it's one you breathe in slowly. Fun fact, there's a full-scale replica of Hallstatt in China, which only proves the global allure of this tiny Austrian treasure. High in the Indian Himalayas, where desert meets snow and monasteries cling to mountainsides, Ladakh is often called Little Tibet. It's a place of stark beauty, thin air, and spiritual depth, where every road feels like a pilgrimage. A sapphire blue lake at 4,350 meters, stretching across India and China. It changes colors with the light, and its silence is broken only by the wind. You'll feel like you've reached the moon. This 15th century monastery is a whitewashed marvel rising from the hillside like a stairway to the sky. Morning prayers here, echoing through ancient halls, feel like something sacred. Whether you're crossing the high passes of Kardung La or sipping butter tea with monks, Ladakh teaches stillness, strength, and wonder. It's not just a destination, it's a revelation. Imagine a land where cliffs drop thousands of feet into green abysses and rare monkeys leap between clouds. That place is real, and it's the Simien Mountains. The Simien Mountains, Ethiopia, rise from the northern highlands of East Africa like a fortress of nature. This dramatic range is carved with jagged peaks, deep valleys, and towering plateaus that earned it a UNESCO World Heritage status for its unmatched geological beauty and biodiversity. Trekkers from around the world come to witness Ras Dashen, the highest peak in Ethiopia, and to meet the park's endemic residents, the shaggy-coated gelada baboons, Ethiopian wolves, and Walia ibex. These species can't be found anywhere else on Earth. The landscape, often compared to the Grand Canyon, offers sweeping panoramas and moments of pure isolation in a world seemingly untouched by time. Fascinating fact, the Simien Range is over 20 million years old, sculpted by ancient volcanic activity. It's not just a hike, it's a journey into Earth's raw, primal soul. Kaunas is the kind of city that surprises you, quietly. It doesn't shout like Vilnius or parade like Riga, but instead offers a graceful mix of modernist architecture, interwar elegance, and youthful rebellion. Lithuania's second city and former capital, Kaunas is where old Europe brushes shoulders with Art Deco curves, and where melancholy meets mischief. This pedestrian boulevard is the city's spine, nearly 2 kilometers of tree-lined charm, bookshops, cafes, and Soviet echoes. Once the pride of the interwar Lithuanian Republic, Laisvės alėja today is both a time capsule and a lively public salon where locals walk, talk, and protest. Set by the shores of the Kaunas Reservoir, this Baroque masterpiece is both spiritually and architecturally breathtaking. With its ornate frescoes and serene atmosphere, Pažaislis is one of the most beautiful monasteries in Eastern Europe, and a reminder of Kaunas's layered religious past. Kaunas isn't just a museum of the 20th century, it's also a city on the move. It was a European capital of culture in 2022, and it wears that honor well. From its vibrant street art and Art Deco gems to the eerie beauty of the Devil's Museum, Kaunas balances dignity with a wink. It's where Lithuania grew up, and where it now dreams forward. What if your next adventure took you inside a mountain? Vargia, Georgia, is a cave monastery city, carved into the Erusheti cliffs above the Mitkvari River. Hidden in southern Georgia, it's a marvel of medieval engineering and spiritual endurance. This isn't a ruin, it's a story etched into stone. Deep within the cave complex lies the Church of the Dormition, with 12th century frescoes still pulsing with color. One painting shows Queen Tamar, the ruler who commissioned the city, rare in history and art. The church remains active, its chants echoing through hollow stone corridors. Over 600 interconnected rooms, from bakeries to wine cellars, run through Vardzia's heart. These secret tunnels once sheltered monks and villagers from Mongol invasions. Many are still accessible, creating a labyrinthine journey through faith and resilience. Vardzia feels timeless. Wind whistles through doorways carved by hand. Silence speaks louder than words. It's Georgia's stone hymn. What if you could stand at the edge of the world, where polar bears roam and the sun doesn't set for months? Welcome to Svalbard, Norway. Svalbard, Norway is a remote Arctic archipelago located between mainland Norway and the North Pole. It's one of the world's northernmost inhabited areas, a land of icy silence and dramatic, untouched wilderness. Glaciers, frozen fjords, and snow-covered peaks dominate the terrain, creating a scene straight from a polar fairy tale. The main settlement, Longyearbyen, offers cozy lodges and museums, but the real draw lies beyond, in the untamed Arctic. Dog sledding, snowmobiling, and glacier hiking are just the beginning. And for the brave, there's the chance to witness the eerie beauty of the polar night or the midnight sun, depending on the season. Svalbard's unique status as a demilitarized zone and visa-free territory gives it a curious international character. It's also home to the Global Seed Vault, humanity's backup of the world's crops, buried deep in permafrost. This is not a place for casual travelers. It's for seekers of silence, raw nature, and a sense of life on the edge of existence. What if your journey was not just through landscapes, but through spirit? Shikoku, Japan's fourth largest island, is a realm of sacred mountains, quiet villages, and timeless rituals. Located south of Honshu, it's circled by the legendary 88 Temple Pilgrimage, a route walked for centuries by monks and seekers alike. Shikoku is introspection in motion. In Takamatsu, Ritsuren Garden unfolds like a living scroll. Meticulously shaped pine trees, koi-filled ponds, and arched wooden bridges. Once a private retreat for feudal lords, it's now one of Japan's most exquisite Edo period gardens. Hidden in the island's interior, the Iya Valley offers vine bridges suspended over turquoise rivers and deep gorges. It's remote, raw, and wrapped in mist, a glimpse of untouched Japan. Despite its beauty, Shikoku remains uncrowded. Pilgrims in white robes pass you on country roads. This island doesn't perform for tourists. It invites you to listen. You've seen floating markets, but have you ever seen entire floating gardens? Lake Inle, Myanmar, is a dreamlike expanse nestled among the Shan Hills in Southeast Asia. Framed by misty mountains and dotted with stilted wooden villages, this freshwater lake feels frozen in time. Traditional wooden boats drift silently past water hyacinths as the Intha people maintain a life of balance between land and water. The lake's most fascinating feature is its floating gardens, carefully constructed patches of vegetation anchored with bamboo poles. Locals grow tomatoes, squash, and flowers directly on the water, cultivating entire harvests on these surreal green islands. Ngaphichang Monastery, resting above the lake's surface, is a teakwood marvel that's over a century old. Its silent halls once echoed with the footsteps of monks and the legendary jumping cats trained by them. Inle is also known for its unique leg-rowing fishermen, balancing at the stern of their boats. They wrap one leg around an oar, a mesmerizing sight seen nowhere else on Earth. What if a single town could hold the soul of a vanished dynasty, the echo of ancient trade routes, and the rhythm of water running through stone alleys? Lijiang, China. Set at the foot of the Jade Dragon Snow Mountain in Yunnan Province, Lijiang is a UNESCO-listed old town, where cobblestone streets wind between wooden homes, canals glisten under lanterns, and music drifts from naxi flutes. Lijiang was once a key hub on the ancient Tea Horse Road, a Silk Road equivalent that traded Tibetan tea for Chinese goods. The town's naxi heritage still defines it today. Women in traditional blue garments walk the same streets as their ancestors, and the Dongba script, one of the world's last pictographic languages, decorates temples and scrolls. At night, the old town glows. Red lanterns sway above bridges, and sounds of traditional music echo in tea houses. Just outside, the dramatic Tiger Leaping Gorge and Lugu Lake offer escapes into mythic nature. Lijiang isn't a museum. It's a living time capsule, where culture and beauty are not preserved, but alive. Petra, Jordan. Hidden within the rugged desert canyons of southern Jordan, Petra is an archaeological wonder that rises like a mirage from the rose-colored cliffs. Once the thriving capital of the Nabatean kingdom, this ancient city is carved entirely into sandstone and has rightfully earned its place among the world's most iconic sites. The journey begins at the Sik, a narrow, winding gorge flanked by towering rock walls that lead to the majestic treasury, Al-Khazna, a masterpiece of Hellenistic architecture cut directly into the cliff. But Petra's grandeur doesn't stop there. With over 800 carved structures, including tombs, temples, and an ancient Roman-style amphitheater, it's a city built to awe. Historically, Petra was a crossroads of trade routes where incense, silk, and spices flowed between east and west. Its hydraulic engineering systems and carved facades show a society of both beauty and intellect. As the sunlight shifts, the sandstone glows from gold to deep crimson. Few places so vividly bring the past to life. Petra is not just seen, it's felt. Want to walk barefoot through streets made of sand, with flamingos overhead and no cars in sight? Isla Holbox, Mexico. Is that kind of paradise? A car-free island where tranquility reigns and nature takes center stage. Located off the northern coast of the Yucatan Peninsula, this island belongs to the Yumbalam Nature Reserve, offering a haven for wildlife and those seeking pure escape. Its shallow turquoise waters are home to whale sharks from May to September. Swimming beside these gentle giants is a life-changing experience. The island's beaches are soft and endless, lined with hammocks, fishing boats, and hand-painted murals. And by night, bioluminescence lights up the waves, like stars falling into the sea. Holbox blends Mayan heritage with laid-back Caribbean charm. Locals travel by bike or golf cart. Streets are dotted with ceviche stands and juice bars under swaying palms. It feels timeless, untouched. More than a destination, Holbox is a rhythm. Slow, serene, and impossibly beautiful. On Morocco's wild Atlantic coast, where desert winds meet ocean spray, lies Essaouira, a walled city of white and blue beauty, salty air, and endless rhythm. Known as the Wind City of Africa, Essaouira is where surfers, artists, and dreamers come to exhale. Essaouira's Medina is smaller and calmer than Marrakesh's, but just as rich in color and scent. Wander through alleys filled with spices, textiles, and Nawa music, and then follow the seagulls to the port, where blue boats bob like toys and fishermen sell their catch straight from the net. This 18th century sea bastion offers panoramic views of the Atlantic and crashing waves below. Cannons still stand at attention, pointing out to sea, a reminder that Essaouira was once a Portuguese fortress, then a trading hub, and now a guardian of culture and wind. Essaouira is more feeling than place. It's the sound of waves against stone, the taste of grilled sardines on the docks, the scent of cedarwood in the souks. Jimi Hendrix came here. So did Orson Welles. Maybe it's the light, maybe it's the wind. But whatever it is, Essaouira gets into your skin and stays there. You've seen it in photos, but what if I told you the wall winds like a dragon across mountains you never imagined? The Great Wall of China snakes across the northern landscapes of East Asia, from the deserts of Gansu to the lush hills of Hebei, covering over 21,000 kilometers of rugged terrain. It's not just one wall, but a series of fortifications built across centuries. The Muqianyu and Jinshanling sections near Beijing showcase restored battlements and watchtowers, with mountain views that shift with every season. In the more remote Simitai, silence and solitude turn stone into poetry. Built to guard the Chinese Empire from northern invasions, the wall is also a symbol of human ambition and unity. Workers, scholars, and soldiers once lived upon its ramparts, their legacy etched into every brick. Legends speak of lovers and emperors, of ghosts and triumph. As fog rolls over the ridges, the wall feels less like a monument and more like a memory carved into the earth. Imagine touching the sky from Africa's rooftop, where glaciers crown a mountain rising from the savannah. Mount Kilimanjaro. Tanzania is the highest peak in Africa, standing 5,195 meters tall above the plains of East Africa. This freestanding stratovolcano dominates the northern Tanzanian horizon, a snow-capped wonder just a few degrees south of the equator. The mountain features multiple ecological zones, from dense rainforest and moorland to alpine desert and icy summit. Trekkers pass through all in a single journey, culminating in Uhuru Peak, where the rising sun greets those who dare the ascent. No technical climbing gears needed, making it one of the world's most accessible high-altitude hikes. In local Chaga mythology, Kilimanjaro is sacred, a home to spirits and mystery. Fun fact, it's one of the few places on Earth where you can hike through equatorial jungle and stand on a glacier within days. Kilimanjaro isn't just Africa's peak, it's a pilgrimage into the clouds. Ever dreamed of walking through clouds above rice fields that ripple like green silk? That's Sapa, perched in the Hoang Lien Sun Mountains of northern Vietnam. Sapa is a misty highland retreat where terraced fields cascade down steep valleys, creating one of the most iconic landscapes in Southeast Asia. This region lies near the Chinese border and is home to vibrant ethnic minorities, including the Hmong, Dao, and Tay peoples. Their colorful clothing, open-air markets, and traditional crafts bring rich texture to this mountain town. Fansipan, the roof of Indochina, towers nearby at 3,143 meters, accessible by Asia's longest cable car, or a multi-day trek through cloud forests and bamboo groves. Villages like Lao Chai and Kat Kat offer immersive cultural experiences amid dramatic scenery. Sapa's charm lies in its contrasts. Foggy mornings give way to golden afternoons, and ancient customs thrive alongside modern cafes. It's where Vietnam whispers its wildest, most poetic secrets.